Hi everyone, welcome back to Lifting the Lamp. In Western ceremonial magic, usually you'll see people working with one of two types of spirits, angels or demons. But just what are angels and demons? That's what I'm going to attempt to answer in this video and in my subsequent video. So this video is going to look at the concept of angels and demons in traditional mythology and break down the symbolism of those stories and see what kind of ideas they're pointing towards. So let's begin our journey into the strange world of angels and demons. In the context of Western ceremonial magic, the angels and demons that you find in the pages of ancient medieval grimoires and so forth are very much inherited from a Christian mythology. So much as Western esotericism has been gradually moving away from Christianity, it's undoubtedly influenced by that worldview. So in the Christian cosmology, you've got the human race who inhabit the earth, which is in the middle of everything. Above that, in the higher realms, so to speak, you've got more spiritual realms that are closer to God, which is where the different orders of angels are to be found. And conversely, below the earth, further away from God, in the lower, so to speak, realms of existence, you've got the different orders of demons. And the angels are said to serve the will of God and take us close to God, whereas the demons are said to be evil and want to drag us down further towards a lower state of existence. And there's a lot of kind of moral values and moral assumptions that are attached to whether or not you exist in one or the other realm. If you're an angel, you're always good. If you're a demon, you're always bad. And each of the angels and the demons represent a different side in a great spiritual struggle over the fate of the human race. And they both have distinct, clear agendas. The angels serve the agenda of good and wanting to raise up the human race, and the demonic realm wants to destroy the human race and bring us down. So it's a very dualistic and Manichaean way of dividing up the spiritual realms. And because there's also this assumption that the world equals bad and spirit equals good, it's supposed that the demons, since they are spiritual entities, must have started off as angels before they became demons. So there's the whole story of the fall of Lucifer and his angels who rebelled against God, to explain how you can have spiritual beings that are nonetheless serving the ends of evil. And you find the other two Abrahamic faiths of Judaism and Islam have similar sorts of ideas about the angelic and demonic realm to that of Christianity, but not the same by any means in every respect. But what about the other major religions of the world? What about Buddhism and Hinduism? Do we find some concept of angels and demons in those religions? The answer is yes. In the 31 planes of existence in Buddhism, as well as in Hindu mythology, there are two main types of being inhabiting the spiritual realm. There's the devas on the one hand, who are close to the highest plane of existence in terms of the heavens. They tend to be very benevolent and they tend to be very virtuous. And then you've got the asuras, who are similar to the devas, but much more passionate and much more aggressive and violent, and often see themselves as rivals to the devas and always trying to make war with the devas or undermine them in some way or conquer other planets or whatever it is, expressing that passion, that craving mixed with that spiritual power. So this is similar to the idea of angels and demons. But in Hindu and Buddhist tradition, it's a bit more complex than just asura bad, deva good. Because in each of these realms, there is good karma and bad karma that you can accumulate. And every being is on a journey, either further up or further down. And so whether or not they are good or bad is not determined by what plane of existence they inhabit, but more so by the deeds that they do in their life. So you can have asuras who engage in great spiritual works, who meditate for years and get granted a boon by the gods, and they would accumulate good karma and create the possibility of being reborn in a higher realm, perhaps a realm of the devas. Conversely, a deva could accumulate bad karma and fall. And of course, there's a parallel in Christian or Abrahamic mythology here as well, where we know that there is the possibility that angels can become jealous of the human race or prideful in some other way, and that leads to a fall from grace. Now, one thing that makes the cosmology of the Hindu and Buddhist universe different to that of Christian or Abrahamic faiths is that the asuras do not inhabit hell. They don't inhabit the lower planes of existence. They simply are lower than the devas, but they are still slightly above the human race. But given their passion and their craving and all of that, and the amount of negative karma you can accumulate with that much spiritual power, you can still say they're very much on a trajectory to the realms below the human plane of existence. So from these examples, we can see that the association of the devas is very much one of aligning with the will of the divine. They're often credited with creating the universe, although that is disputed by Buddhism, for example, which merely says that the beings in the higher planes of existence, such as devas and other demigods, merely govern the universe. But sometimes they're considered to have a role in creating everything. But the idea of beings that are involved in the government of the universe is more important here, I think. And then with beings such as the asuras or the demons, you've got beings that are very much associated with passion and temptation and all of those kinds of things which draw the human being further down into the physical. Whatever the motivation is behind that, that tends to be what's associated with the demonic or the asuras. That attraction towards the physical world or attraction towards Maya, the world of illusion and division. So those are the major religions of the world today. What about more ancient forms of polytheism? What do they have to say about angels and demons? Do they have a similar kind of idea? Well, as a matter of fact, they do. So again and again in ancient mythologies, you see a similar story being retold where there are the ancient ones, the old gods of chaos and darkness who are unruly and tyrannical and uncontrollable, who then get overtaken or overthrown by a new generation of gods who represent order and civilization. And so you can say that that's very similar to the idea of angels and demons. Tiamat, the dragon of chaos, is very similar to the red dragon representing Satan in the book of Revelation. And a few other examples of this myth are the Aesir in Norse mythology defeating the ice giants. The Olympian gods defeating the Titans is another example. And we even see this repeated in Judeo-Christian belief in a surprising sort of a way, where you have the God of Israel besting or competing with the ancient tribal gods of the Near East, and those gods being recast as demons. And again, we see this in the medieval grimoires of demons. Many of the names of the demons, such as Astaroth and Baal, are actually the names of pagan deities. So again, the demons are being represented as the old gods of chaos, which have been replaced by a new, more sophisticated concept of divinity. And there's another aspect to this mythological motive, this mythological narrative that keeps getting repeated throughout history, which has to do with evolutionary biology, perhaps our ancestral memory as a species, and our own unconscious recognition of the different parts of our own psyche and what they represent and how they are mirrored in the forces of the external world. But that is all stuff that I will discuss in a subsequent video. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for listening today. If you've enjoyed this content, please subscribe, and then you'll be notified when the next videos in this series are uploaded. Leave any comments that you have down below. Any video suggestions that you have, leave those down below as well. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.